order. It's our meeting of October 10th, 2017 at 6 p.m. And Elaine, would you like to call the roll, please?
Ms. Horvath? Present. Ms. Means? Present. Ms. Rush?
Present.
Ms. Sally Grinder?
Present.
Mayor Riggle?
Here.
Vice Chairman Cupp?
Here.
Chairman Giebert?
Here. So, has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from our last meeting? Does anybody have any comments about that?
A motion? Motion to approve?
Yes. Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, Colleen. So, would you like to take the...
Ms.
Oh,
Horvath? Agreed. Ms. Means? Agreed. Ms. Rush?
Agreed.
Ms. Sally Grider?
Agreed.
Mayor Riggle?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cupp?
Yes.
Chairman Giebert?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Maybe we can just get our next meeting out of the order. We've been moving along for several years now, having our meetings on the second Tuesday of each quarter. So if that's good, I'd like to continue that. It works for me. And that would be January the 9th next year. So is that a good day to have our next meeting on?
Sure.
Great. So
Can you guarantee there will be no snow?
Probably with Ohio.
Well,
However.
when we started this committee, we had some sometimes a little reception beforehand with some refreshments and so forth. So I'm going to try to put that together for our January meeting. So I don't know when we'll start, if it's 5 or 5:15, but we'll bring something to eat that's we'll have some little bit of Japanese snacks and some tea or something.
Yes, yes. We met a wonderful man down at the desk that I would love to have, Chef Gibby.
Yes.
He was right. We should look into that.
Yes, do, but I thought for our next meeting we'll just have a little few Japanese refreshments, and you can come early, and we'll see if any of the people from next door want to come by. Maybe Darren Schulman wants to have something good.
You invite him, the food will be gone.
Snack.
I don't care if the microphone's on, it's true.
So, okay, we'll do that for our meeting on January the 9th. And since we have reorganized our committee a little bit, I just wanted to say before we get onto the agenda here that it seems like we every year our year finishes in the summer. So our July meeting sort of finishes a school year. I think that's a good basis for this. And what I wanted to say was I've been chairman of this committee since we started, but I would be very happy if anyone else wants to do that. I'm happy to continue, but I put that off till July of next year. But it's not that I necessarily, want to stay doing this. I would like to be on the committee, but if anybody else would like to be chairman or chairwoman, you're more than welcome to do that. I just wanted to say that. So.
You're doing a fine job, in my opinion.
I consider, but it's a lot of time involvement included too, on your part.
Yes, possibly. The reason I mention this is that I think we have a lot more opportunities now than I envisioned, say, like 2 or 3 years ago. Things have really kind of developed quite well, which is nice, but maybe we want to look at a bit how we work. And when we go through our sister city updates this evening, I'd like to just talk a little bit about who might work on things or might be interested in coming to events, because I feel like I've been a little bit remiss in not seeing who wants to come to different events and so forth. Tom's helped out with that and so forth. But, I just would like people to feel like you can help invite people on the committee. So that would be really helpful. So if you have reports that you want to send us, I had hoped to send out a little bit more information about this meeting beforehand, but it didn't happen this time. So, but we'll move on. So the first item on our agenda tonight is to review things with Sakata. And Carolyn, do you know anything more than maybe what I know about the coming visit?
Yeah, they're they're coming in late Friday night
Thursday.
or Thursday night, so that the agenda in the morning probably won't happen, may happen later in the day. And Hidio's coming, he's just a riot, so I'm excited he's coming. So we have to come up with something to do with them for 2 days. But I want to reach out to whoever their host family or wherever they're staying to make sure that they've got things for them to do and see while they're here.
November what?
They're coming that first week in November.
I think Thursday the
Second.
2nd.
Second, yeah. So 3rd through the 7th, I want to
Yes.
say.
So they'll get to see Election Day, or they have to leave before?
I think they leave that day.
Mhm.
And this is their 20th year. So we thought maybe we'd do a proclamation or something at the schools there.
May I speak? for-
Yes, you may.
Sorry. I visited with Jenny Nicely
Mhm.
yesterday afternoon for a little bit, just to kind of see where they were at in their planning. And they're basically staying to the same kind of routine that they've done every year, which is kind of the preference from Sakata, from the schools and stuff, because I think it's just easier for them to know what to expect to get, for their kids. But like Carolyn was saying, they are getting in a lot later, so the assembly hasn't been decided at that time. And then the kids are, she's looking at the kids going to First Friday that evening, hopefully weather permitting, but they want to make that sort of a mandatory activity for the host family to do. Normally they have trick or treat, but must be today.
No, we're not changing trick or treat.
We don't have that event for them to do, so that'll be something that they're looking at. And then it's, their normal banquet that they'll have Sunday night and stuff.
I wonder if we should probably use some kind of a banner if they're going to come the first Friday downtown to welcome them.
That would be nice.
Since everywhere we went over there was a banner of
We could
some kind.
we could even do a table, like a Sister City table. Anyone who's interested.
How many students are involved?
Usually 20 to 22.
Yeah,
That's a big group.
there's 8 boys and 12 girls.
So we have a nice visit. They're still in their planning process
Mhm.
too, but kind of the same activities.
Mhm. Yes, we'll have to work a little bit, because when Tom and I talked to them, and I don't remember all the names of the people that we spoke to by Skype a couple of weeks ago, we created a little bit of an agenda, and part of it was to help them consider some other things and help us to look at some things too. And one of the things was perhaps allowing them to send some older children, like in high school here, like maybe instead of just being at Dempsey, some of the kids would come to the high school for, maybe they'd send like 6 kids to come to the high school for that time. So we probably should talk to somebody at the high school about that, or have somebody available to talk to about that.
I'd be happy to take that on.
Okay, that'd be great. I mean, probably if you chat, I'll send, we'll tell Tom about that. So
So don't you think these kids are already selected? And you talked to him 2 weeks ago? We already know what 8 boys and 12 girls are? Or you're saying in the future?
in the future, this
I was
is
gonna say, wait a
something,
minute.
yeah, sorry.
Okay.
This is something for future consideration, what we might do in the future.
Okay.
But if we want to, I don't think we can talk about that. I think somebody from Hayes has to talk about that, not us. Or we shouldn't, I feel guilty about this, because I've often said things about Hayes that I don't really have any business saying. So I think that it's good that they are involved in this a little bit.
When Tom and I were there and we talked about extending this to other schools, they really didn't have much interest. They wanted to exchange teachers from high schools.
Okay,
But that's
Not
a whole
kids.
different world. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I know the
I
high
know we're
school,
exchanging college students through Wesleyan, there's something working in the works for that.
okay,
But they didn't seem, they may have changed their minds, but that was the impression Tom and I got when we were there.
okay, I misunderstood that probably. Maybe I misunderstood.
Because I kind of talked to Joanne about going and she's like, I can't go, I have a business in them. And, you know, she just couldn't do it.
Okay,
So,
yeah, perhaps I misunderstood what they were interested in, so.
we can talk to Hideo when he's here and see.
Yeah, that's great. So just about banners, when our Rotary students arrived in Japan this year from Buckeye Valley, they all have banners, big banners at the airport. So we don't have banners.
Well, we do have a banner when Tom and I, did you go that night that they came here, the delegates?
The first night, we have a banner someplace already made.
We could get a banner.
Okay,
And it's in English and in Japanese.
okay.
What's the matter? It's here someplace. So
I saw it.
when you clean out that closet.
I know. I did touch it at some point.
Okay, we'll need to find that.
Would we welcome them at the airport?
Because they're coming in so late, I was thinking for First Friday, it'd be nice to have it out, if they're gonna come to First Friday, have it out maybe in front of City Hall or someplace downtown where whatever activity is going on. And they'll-
Special welcome, you know, especially
Right.
thing. Yeah.
And it had both flags on it, so it would be nice to at least put that up. And this First Friday, they're not closing the streets down, correct?
Correct.
So,
As I like also the idea with a stand out there, a table out there. I've been out there last week with the German round table, and we had a great response. It was a good one.
good.
You know, it supports the idea that we reach out anywhere, are more known to the citizens here of Delaware. So I think that would be a great one. I would love to be part of that. That's a really good one.
Yeah, it might be easier because there'll be some Japanese children there.
Yeah, you know, and have
So-
different flags or different, you know, so we have eye-catching things, so that would be great.
Okay, okay. We'll see what we can do on this. There's going to be various other things that we talked about various topics of discussion. And in fact, in this week's edition of The Economist magazine, there was an article about Japan and about the issues that individual cities have as far as responding to their declining population. This is a really big subject for them. And I think that some of the things that we mentioned in some of our correspondence and discussion about, there's really only two ways that you can grow for your population to increase. It's to either through birth or immigration. So I think that's a big concern for all cities in Japan, Sakata included. And this article specifically in The Economist is about Fukuoka and what cities have to do to make themselves more attractive. So they asked us when we had this discussion by Skype, why does Delaware grow? Why do we grow? Well, it's not because we're so wonderful necessarily.
Sure it is.
We're privileged to be where we are in relation to Columbus. And so we talked to them a little bit about that, but I think that's probably a very important issue for them. Whereas we don't have sort of huge problems here in Delaware, but they do, I think, with the population decline. This is also an effect in Baumholder, too.
But I would say we have a similar situation, you know. Our population is not really so much growing either. We just had that not long ago in our talk that's through in our church. You know, what you do, actually the international outreach. We're starting out another group just for that reason, you know. So we're not that far off.
Well, in Sakata, we gave a presentation and we talked about our growth. Their eyes got huge. And they were all like, how are you doing this? What are you doing? And then when we had our meeting in Tokyo, there was the same discussion. We are declining. What are you guys doing differently? What should we be doing? But it was interesting when we spent time at the college, and we spent time with probably 25 students, and we got to talk to each of them individually. When you ask for their hope for the future, I'd say 90% of them want to come to America.
Wow.
So they don't want to stay there in their own country. They see opportunities here. So I understand that they have problems.
Yeah,
I don't know how to fix that.
But
but probably they're thinking about that,
Oh, yeah.
really on their minds, what they have to do, and probably they have to make some changes as a country. Or what this Economist article is saying, that individual cities have to make this choice. I'll try to copy and email that article to you, because I thought it was very effective in presenting a challenge, not just to the country, but to individual cities, that they have to make choices. And one of the things they said about Fukuoka, and this could apply to Sakata in some ways, is that Fukuoka is on the west side of the country, so it's close to Korea and China, and they do have more immigration there. Now, is that historical? Is it the city? I don't know, but that's tough. I think it's tough for Japanese people to consider having immigration. It's a very nationalistic society. You probably felt that when you were there. So to allow immigration, it's not a melting pot like the United States is. So, but anyhow, it's probably something that is, takes up a lot of their attention. So.
I just thought it was funny because Tokyo, here's a city of 30 million people, and they're worrying about declining population. I'm thinking, wow.
But you know, a lot of people want to move from more provincial Japan to Tokyo. So maybe Tokyo is a bit like Columbus, does not, maybe even experiencing immigration from inside the country, whereas Columbus area is growing, but not Ohio as a whole. So maybe that's a better model in some ways. So, Carolyn, if you and Tom and Elaine, if you can reach out to us, if you, for instance, need a little bit of help with things, or have a schedule that's starting to come together,
Right.
maybe you can let us know, and because this is something that's coming up right.
Absolutely.
You know, it's just 3 weeks away now.
If
So,
you
And
do
that
a
was-
table, we could sign up maybe and have people man it.
I can
Or
call
we could
Main
all be there.
Street and sign up for a table if you're interested in that. If
that
everyone
would be
wants
great,
to
yeah.
Yeah.
take a small shift or man it a little bit.
I
We
think
could
it's
get a
important,
case
yeah.
for that. We could stick that.
No, you're not taking that outside.
In a closure, like a Pepsi.
I like the flag idea. That's a great
No,
idea.
that's
Put the little
really-
flags.
It's honestly different, different from the different cities we have or countries we have, and it was such an eye catcher for the people, and we just reach out.
Or
make a little
even the
flyer or
Sister
something.
City logo, since we
Yeah.
are members of the Sister City National, if we could get a logo or something, just to show them what we're a part of.
I'm trying to think how big.
Also our table was a little bit too small. It was a smaller hand, they couldn't carry it easily, but we found it was a little bit too small. Should be a little bit, what you get from the
Well, I
normal,
think we can
An
get a
8 foot.
table through the,
but we saw such a thing.
or
You can do what, I'm sorry?
borrow a table from the Parks Department.
Oh.
If they can,
Which is the 8-foot table,
I can check.
couple of chairs.
I think they do that for other.
I think it makes it just easier for if there are a couple of people there to involve more people and to reach out. And if you have different, materials, it attracts more also, And it allows more people to speak at this, or be around and to interact with one another.
Right.
It's a bit
Because
easier.
how many people in Delaware know we have a Sister City Board? Are there a lot of locals that even know that we?
it probably, not really. However, the people who do know, a lot of people have hosted Japanese students over the years.
Okay.
That's probably one of the things you run into the most in town,
Okay.
are families that have hosted one of these kids over the years.
Mhm.
Maybe it was 10 years ago, but they were a host family and they remember that. So
Think about it, it's been going on for 20 years.
20 years.
And we get 20 to 22 students
Right.
every year. That's a lot of families that have been
Yeah.
touched by this program.
Yeah.
But our intention, if you say so, has been for years that we reach out more and that people are more knowledgeable about this part. When we said we did some series, where people can just listen in different countries and such things, which does not happen.
Well, I have an idea, but I was saving it to the end.
Yeah.
But that's true. If somebody comes and they say, oh, I have this going on in a country that I'm related with, they could let us know
Well,
if
Yeah.
they want us to reach out for
Yeah.
business or.
Well, I said I would start about with this, couples, things with information about Germany, where we have also German companies part of, but it just didn't happen yet. Okay, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. But as a part, and then you have other, countries that we're involved with as well. Do a similar thing, and so get the word out, or have more people from the community involved and hear about it. But the stand is a good one. It goes in this direction.
We're going to come on to Waldholder in a minute, but if we have information about their museum dedication by then, that might be something interesting to pass out to people too. Maybe we could come up with just a one-page plot, piece of paper that we could give to people who are interested. With just a little bit of information about Japan, Germany, and about our committee.
When we
Something
meet,
simple that we could give to people. That might be a good.
even our schedule, our next meeting, if they want to come and watch. And, we'll have refreshments. I'm just kidding. Free food. Yeah. Everyone felt.
So,
Yeah, way to interact with the people.
Right. Encourage them to come and watch.
okay. Now, just to sort of, so we can move on here. But I think Tom, Elaine, Carolyn, you're going to be arranging the things for our visitors, not the school part of it, but the city visitors, arranging with them for their stay. Now, the table, who will do that?
For Main Street.
For Main Street.
Well, I will call, I'm on the Main Street board, honestly, so I can work through that. I need to make sure, though, because there is no street closing, how they're doing that with tables.
To just be on the sidewalk.
Or where we can be located, but.
Okay. I would love to be there that evening, but because we have an election coming up on November the 7th, I'm going to be really super busy around that time. So I really want to participate in this, but I don't have time to organize anything, just to let you know at the moment.
I would say in other boards, what we've done with events like this is kind of communicated through email a little bit more, especially if we're playing a pamphlet or something, because we'll need to have that approved by Lee.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't mind writing a little bit of something about some text for that. I'll try to do that.
I mean, printing it out is not a big deal. We can do that in-house, but just.
Yeah, maybe some text and a few
You
pictures.
can pay for the table out of the mayor's fund. What?
It should probably be.
It's $35, so
Right.
just go ahead and pay for it out there.
But I'll just have to check and make sure how I'm not quite sure how we do it if we're not street closing.
They just put them on the sidewalks, just line them up.
So be nice if we could have that big one.
Well, it's early enough that you ask.
What's that?
It's early enough, yeah.
Absolutely. So tomorrow I'll try to get a hold of.
And the whole theme is thankful, so we can be thankful for our sister cities, thankful for the opportunities. That's what I was thinking here. I don't know what
That
rest of you
sounds good.
think, but.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that fits us really, really well. So, okay, well, thank you. I think we'll have an exciting time here with our visitors from Cicada here, and I'm looking forward to them coming.
And also, we had a meeting with Ben. what's his-
Proctor.
Thank you.
Proctor.
And he had some great ideas. He's involved in Japanese sister cities in Marysville and
Worthington, Dublin.
So he's trying to get us all on the same page, so
Yeah,
we know what's
that's
going
good.
on in each other's. He's also very interested. I want to do where we bring over the art from Cicada to our Russ Museum. And there's also this instrument that they play that has 13 strings on it. I can't say the name of it, but this gentleman that we had lunch with knows of it. So I would love to be able to bring some instruments or some drums and somehow work these together with COSO and make it a really cool evening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something else I think would be really exciting for the whole community.
Yeah, that's a beautiful instrument.
And that'd be a
So-
great place to have Chef Kirby.
Kibby,
Kibby.
Chef Kibby.
I believe Yuki. Do we know who Yuki?
Yes, I know who Yuki is. She's
asked-
not coming.
No, she's not, but she was asking if we had access to those drums.
And we do through Ben. He moved up in Columbus.
Okay, so that's something I can just respond back to her, but to do like a performance, which would be really cool at first.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. That would be very
But,
cool.
I didn't know where to even start looking for
Reach out to Ben.
Taco.
Yeah. You could reach out to Ben if you don't have the information I do.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just helping a little bit more because Tom's in the middle of budget season. so
Yeah, I
kinda
don't know. I
got
really
thrown in,
appreciate
so
this.
I don't normally speak at any meeting, so I do
You're fine.
apologize.
No, you're doing great. We need all the help we can get right at the moment. So, actually, I think that Jenny Nicely and June Kawade can help us quite a bit in the future. And
Who are
We-
those? Yeah, who are those?
June Kawade is a sort of an associate professor at Ohio Wesleyan. She teaches a class or two there, but she's got her own business. She's got her own consulting business that she works with other Japanese companies, I think, here. And Jenny Nicely is the counselor at Dempsey. So she's the one who organizes all the host families. And she organizes these visits. And I think so. She's busy with that now, but maybe throughout the rest of the year, she could maybe help us with some of the planning for things. She's got a lot of familiarity with this, with our Japanese visitors from what she does. So I think that could be helpful. All right, well, we'll see more of Sakata here and take it up again in January, okay? And, yeah, and let us know what.
I'll be emailing, I'll start making calls tomorrow.
Okay,
We'll go from there.
thank you very much, Elaine. So the next item on the agenda is about Baumholder, and this is a little bit of a mystery. What I think we're making progress, but it's not very clear to me exactly what's going on. And Carolyn, I don't know, have you had any contact with people there recently?
No, not recently.
Not recently.
No.
I went over and talked to Jay Martin a few weeks ago, and he explained to me that there were some political developments in Baumholder that I certainly didn't understand. That because we had always, from the time that our committee started back in 2013, we had always been kind of liaising with Peter Lang, who was the mayor up until that time. But it seems that there was some sort of falling out between other people in Baumholder and Peter Lang. And Peter's no longer the mayor, but there seems to be maybe some ill feelings about things that happened in the past. So I think we have to somehow sort of move through that. And Rita, you mentioned that you hadn't had any kind of response to your things, and I haven't really either. Jay Martin, our soccer coach here at Ohio Wesleyan, he's very well, he's very well connected there. He said he had a great visit to Baumholder this year. Everything went really well. He said it was probably the best visit they've had to Baumholder. So that's good. And he has his partner, colleague is Bernd May, just for your information. Bernd is the person who helps organize the visits of the soccer team with Jay. And Bernd Jay sent Bernd an email at my request, and Bernd sent back quite a long reply about some of the problems going back to Peter Lang's days, which I was really unaware of. So this is news to me. But it does explain perhaps why maybe they think we were too close to Peter, for instance, or we didn't pay enough attention to the other people there. I'm not real. It could well be something like that. So I think that we're in a situation here where we have to sort of, and I sent Bernd an email and I said, we just want to move on to the future. Whatever happened in the past, we're sorry if we missed something or didn't respect something. I don't know what words I used, but the idea is we just want to move ahead. And because we have Baumholder is also a city that is much smaller than Delaware is, whereas Secaucus is much bigger than Delaware. Baumholder is a much smaller city than Delaware. But they have this military base, army post that is really completely unique. This is completely unique and something I found very impressive when I was there. I guess you had also a
Yes.
very good feeling from when you were visited there. I mean, although it's a small town in the middle of nowhere, it has this incredible American connection. I mean, you just feel like you're immersed in history, and there's a whole kind of sort of amazing feeling there. At least that's how I felt because of the American post there. So I would really like to move ahead with them, and I think they would too. But it's a matter of probably getting past some hard feelings. Byrne said in this email that the mayor was thinking of coming here next year to Delaware. Now, we haven't heard anything about that. So I don't know what the background of that is. We've been kind of trying to find out when the museum dedication
I
is.
just sent Gabby another message and she works for the government. She
Right.
works there in that office, so. And
Right.
there's two separate offices. Peter was in one and Gabby was in the other. Because Peter used to be the mayor of Baumholder as well as
The
the
commune.
Martin. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it got very confusing for me over there. Who did what?
Yeah, yeah. And I think Baumholder has some issues, a little different issues but a lot like Secaucus, in that it's not an area that's growing. In fact, the population of Germany is declining. And places like Baumholder are also losing population. That's why their high school closed a couple of years ago. That was kind of unfortunate for us because we had just made an exchange with the high school and then it closed. So, but there's a lot of nice towns around Baumholder too. I mean, they have like a Rotary Club that's nearby. The high school at Kusel that a lot of the Baumholder students go to is very, very nice. I visited there. So I think it's a great sister city. I mean, it's not like Obwodnitz, which is a whole other story. But so Baumholder, I think we just need to move through that and find where we can go. And Carolyn, you may have maybe Gabby can help us a little bit on that. And I'm going to talk to Jay again because I think Jay can help us too. I think he wants, because Jay's getting close to probably retiring at some time in the future. He's
I'm not going to comment on
I mean, he's got an incredible amount of energy, and I mean, he may well go on forever. I mean, so, but yeah, we have some work to do on Baumholder, but the museum dedication will be fun thing to do. If we can get that, we can find out about it and do some work for that. That would be really excellent thing. The museum, by the way, is beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful building. They've got some really good ideas for the exhibits that they have in there. So it's a very, very nice thing. So between you reaching out to Gabby and Jay Martin, maybe we can move this along a little bit. So, good.
And if we're still thinking about possibly going and taking some veterans, on Veterans Day, I have 2 different events going on, so it's a perfect opportunity, if I have a date by then, to put the word out to veterans, have a breakfast for them that morning, and then a parade that afternoon. I'll be speaking in the afternoon.
Yes,
I got some information. I got also a couple of people at the last Veterans Dinner. So, and they're very good. That's why I reached out to you. What is another option where we meet together, or what do I say to them? Is there another way that we can include them also?
Yeah, I've had some other people, even people who have newly asked me about that. I don't know how they found out about it. Maybe from from Harold and somebody. Yeah, it seems to be I think there's a lot of. I think there'll be quite a bit of interest in this, so we can find out what it is. So.
But when it's going to come, that museum opening, it's going to come. It's maybe more that we are prepared and we show them that we are there.
Yeah, I think it'll work out, we just have to kind of keep at it a little bit.
Do they have a
So,
date? Or are they done?
That's what we're waiting
Okay,
for.
all right.
yeah,
So we just.
It's been May 11th or 12th, but there's always been a question mark if it's gonna
In
actually happen.
April?
May,
May.
May 11th.
May, yeah. Okay, well, we will press on with Baumholder. So I got on the agenda here an Ireland initiative. So who wants to talk about that?
We have moved forward with the Ireland trip. They are very excited to have us join them for St. Patrick's Day. The band, there are about 50 students going. And
Yeah, tell us about this because I think this is something new. I think you mentioned it at our last meeting, but maybe you can just kind of start from the beginning a little bit about this.
This is a small town called Lochardane in Ireland. They are noted to be the Titanic village. They were given that title because they had lost 13 of their young people on the Titanic. 2 survived. They are a very small town, but the city council would like us to join them in a sister city type relationship.
How close is it to Dublin or where is
It's
it?
on the opposite side. It's closer to Galway. It's about an hour away from Galway.
So it's on the Shannon side of,
Yes, yes,
okay.
yes. It's on the west side. It's in the county of Mayo. It's about midway.
And how did you come to this connection, if I may ask?
My best friend is, we were in Killarney and I had passed a sign that was a sister city. And I had gone there this summer and was planning on, or trying to get on the sister city committee. And we started talking and he's like, I'm on city council. And I was like, whoa, it was just, and then come to find out that Julie's family is from this little town. We just found out a couple weeks, I mean,
Yeah.
there are so, and there's a,
Distillery.
the distillery is registered here in Delaware. There are so many connections that it's kind of scary.
Okay.
But it ended up, we started talking about it and they started doing a St. Patrick's Day parade and really celebrating St. Patrick's Day. And he was like, if we could get an American band here. And I'm like, a marching band? And that's what they wanted. So the Hayes High School, there are 50 students that are going to be playing in their parade, and there were 79 people in total, so that was with the chaperones, and there were some family members that are going to. They're also going to do a thank you concert for them at the church, ironically the St. Patrick's Church, for the town. And when we arrive there, all the kids are going to be put in twos, or at least twos, with families. So they'll be staying with kids their own age for 3 days and their families. And then there's going to be a going away party where they will do traditional music and dance, and it's well planned out.
And when is that going to happen then?
St. Patrick's this
St.
year.
Patrick's,
That's
So March 13th.
2018
Yeah.
March 13th, they fly
to the 20th.
through the
yes.
20th, 13th to the 20th. So we have, when we first fly into Dublin, we have a day already like planned out for them with Kilimanjaro, and then going possibly to, was it the Discovery Ireland, depending on the timing. And then we'll spend a night in Galway and have some activities in Galway planned out for them, and then head to Lochardane, where they'll have that cultural experience of living with an Irish family in this village. And then head home.
That's exciting. That's wonderful.
We're
That's
gonna
exciting.
also take them to the castle. That was a request.
I'm hoping
for the
it
kids.
is.
Yeah,
So
yes,
last
good.
night they go to a castle. so.
Great. That is-
So they're interested in becoming a sister city with our city? Is that,
Yes, very much so.
how does that work? Do we know how?
And I send a letter to that mayor,
Okay.
and see if they're interested, and then we have a meeting.
I think that one of the things we should think about too is whether we can sustain this as a city beyond your personal connections. So I think if we do this for a couple of years, that might be a good thing, just to establish something that can survive personal contacts.
Yes.
That's how a lot of our, I would say our sister cities have started that way, through the personal contacts of people. But as you can see with Baumholder and Secada, they have a long history now. You know, I mean, Jay Martin's been taking soccer teams there for 20 years, and we've had kids coming from Secada for 20 years. So I think that that's kind of what we might hope to have happen, is to have a really steady relationship that's not too much based on individual people. I think it starts that way, but it needs to grow out of that. Does that make sense?
It does. I see a problem with, I'm going to butcher the name, Omniats. That would be the situation there, where it had started with mutual friendship, and then when they moved on to different projects, it kind of lost some of its momentum.
Yeah.
Are there requirements, are there certain requirements to be a sister city? Like, okay.
We did create a process of becoming sister cities when we started. So maybe I should send that to you.
Yes. Maybe
I should send that out to everybody again.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it helped us with Arequipa to really determine that this wasn't what we really could do. I think it was helpful in setting some guidelines for what was working and not working, and to let things go. Because I think that's sometimes difficult, to let things go that aren't working anymore. And I mean, Omotens might fall into that category, but I think it's too early for that. You know, the political situation with Russia is so taut now. I don't think it's fair to evaluate anything right now, and it's not important that we decide anything about that now. But it may be that Omotens is really in a not good condition, good place. So, but I think that having worked a little bit with Hayes myself on different projects, I think the fact that they wanted to do this, they're sending 50 kids, is really quite impressive. And the other thing I'll say about Hayes is that they only have a French and Spanish language programs. So they don't have a German language program, which is a bit challenging. So I think what they're looking for are sort of general cultural experiences for students. And Ireland is great because you can speak English there. You know, you can talk to people. That really is helpful. It's not that people on the continent don't speak English, but with your host family, with everybody you meet in stores, it's just that much easier to be in Ireland or England than to be on the continent, I think. So for the students, it's probably easier. And I spent quite a bit of time in Ireland, and it's a lot of fun. So you can have a lot of fun in Ireland.
So the distillery, is that something, that's a connection that we have with them?
It's strange. They are in La Hardane, and they're registered here in Delaware, which was just a coincidence.
What, a couple years ago, I think,
Yeah.
he said they registered. So before Colleen had even developed the relationship with William, obviously long before I became involved, and then put two and two together, looking at some of my cousin's pictures as he was in Ireland. I'm like, wait a minute, kind of scrolling through these, going, that's where we're going. So yeah, I mean, so there is already that connection there at the city level, at a commerce level, that exists. So it is weird how all the interconnections has happened.
So would they be interested, I mean, I obviously have to see how this goes, but would they be interested in sending students here?
Oh, yes, definitely. I was thinking that instead of the band next year, going at a different time and maybe taking the history club, because there's so much European history there, or science they just have some strange, with Giants Causeway, and then you have the there's just a lot of odd, like even that palm trees are native to Ireland. It's just strange. So it's just kind of cool. And so we can touch other kids rather than just the music program. They are planning on doing this every other year.
The band
The
is.
band is, and they're up and running with fundraising. So they're doing quite well.
Is there a teacher who's coordinating this there?
Yes, they're working, the band directors are both working with us, Alan Notestein and Andy Doherty.
Now, as for our piece of taking more of a cultural trip next year, that's something that I need to talk with Dr. Strangis about, as well as Don, I can never remember his last name, the volleyball coach, he's now the dean of students. To sit down and talk with them and say, you know, band has committed to an every other year program, you know, we'd like to maybe, you could even incorporate soccer. The city of La Harde, they just won the county championship for their soccer team. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Gaelic football, Colleen corrected me. You know, maybe you could bring other pieces of Hayes there and vice versa. So.
It might also be possible that they come in alternate years and people from Hayes go over there in alternate years. That seems to be common with other sister cities that I'm familiar with, these alternate year things, because it takes a little bit of the pressure off of you to do something every year. So, but yet that relationship is going every year. Something's happening. Either you're going or they're coming. I think that's probably pretty comfortable, perhaps, to think about. So.
Although Sakata sends them every year.
Yeah, they do. I think that
And they fund it too.
they fund it. Yeah,
So it does.
yeah. I didn't say this during the meeting last night at City Council, but I almost did that you have to respect the fact that Sakata is quite a wealthy city. The city administration has quite a lot of money, whereas our city, we don't. I mean, we really don't have a lot of spare change to put into but offer all the gifts and spend all the money they did when you visited. So. Yeah, I think that's something that you just don't know is how wealthy individual cities are. And even here, like Delaware County is much more wealthy than Delaware City is. You know, the county has a lot of money, but the city doesn't. So.
Can you get a part of it too?
No. Very difficult. I want them all paid for the point.
Oh.
Meeting is Friday morning.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah, even the negotiation over the paying for Sawmill Parkway was,
One after years.
yeah. So I think that's just the reality of life, kind of. Some of these things, some people have more money than other people have. So, but I think that this will be really exciting for people from Hayes. I mean, that's a big group to go. Big group to go.
It's very big. It's been a labor of love.
Yeah, call it that.
Tell me that later.
So this is going to happen in March. So we will have a meeting in April. So it'll be after you come back from this. Now, are either of you going?
We're both going.
You're both going. Okay. Well, that's nice. Do you have children who are going?
No. We didn't
Okay.
invite them.
They want to go.
So are you going for fun, or are you going to be chaperones?
I'm not going to be a chaperone.
No, we are going so that we can further the conversation with the city or village of La Hardane, so that we can have a better sense of how it works, so that in future years we can talk to, I mean, say Alan or Andy leave the district, we can explain what's happening and what's going on to the new incoming band directors and things of that nature. So we're going more as, you know, how do
Buy
we...
this, are you guys?
So close, Carolyn, we're so close.
There's a distillery.
Yeah.
A lot of distilleries involved,
Well, I
but
think the mayor should go too. Just-
we're not opposed.
You need your clerk.
Keep it all mine.
Right.
Majority, take us off.
But no, I mean, that is a piece of it. We want to see, you know, how can we grow that relationship so that it is a long-term relationship?
We will actually be leaving a week early to
5 days.
5 days, but we're going to be staying in Lahardane. So
Okay, well, we'll have another meeting in January before you go, so we'll be able to hear some more, and you can read about our process and sort of what we thought was important about kind of maintaining some responsibility for our cities, or how to judge them. So, all right, well, thank you. That's a big initiative. I'm really glad that Hayes can undertake something like this. I think it's a good thing for the high school. So
they're very excited. The kids have come up to me that I only know their names and have said thank you. It's just a really neat project for them. I actually was interviewed by a middle school student. He has 2 siblings that are going on the trip, and he interviewed me for the newspaper for the middle school. So.
okay, very nice, very good. Okay, well, thank you for that. That's a good introduction to Lahardane. You know how to
There's some
spell
new
that?
people in our committee, you know, like.
I know.
Awesome. How'd you look at you?
Great. Yeah, I gotta bring somebody.
No pressure.
I'll bring something next month.
Okay, yeah, we'll have some refreshments to start the next meeting. Okay, so the 4th item on the agenda are member comments, and if you have things you'd like to share or observations to make or things you'd like to work on. For instance, last meeting, we had hoped to put some display downstairs, and that's still going to happen. It's going to happen. Just so
I have an idea.
good.
Were you at Rotary yesterday?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. So my former boss is Scott Miller, who's an attorney here in town, has been for years. And he took a trip. He sold our company and he was gone for 7 or 8 months. And he shipped his bicycle over. His son was living in Japan. He met up with them, and his wife went for a short while. And they went all over. They landed in Kathmandu, Nepal, Korea, North Korea, South Korea. I mean, they just traveled all over. He has 20,000 pictures. And his son is still going. He's in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and all the Spanish countries. So Scott did a short talk yesterday at Rotary. He was only allowed to talk for 15 minutes. I would love to do something maybe at Willis. His whole idea is to tell people that you hear about all this stuff, the media, that the world's horrible, all these other places, and that's not what he encountered. Everywhere he went, the hospitality was over the top. People always offering him to stay in your house, feeding him, just help everywhere he went. What a great thing if we could do something, host him at Willis, have him put a slideshow together and invite the community to let them see Sister City. This is what's out there. It's not just the negativity that we see on TV. I came up with this idea this morning. Anyways, I'm excited about it. That maybe we could do it. He comes home in December, his son, because Scott said, I'd really like my son to be involved in it too, because he's visited so many more countries that Scott didn't get to. And so we hear about all the horror that's going on in those countries now. Maybe we could do something in January or February, is what I was thinking.
Is it true that they were bicycling a lot of the time?
Yes, they did. They did bicycle everywhere.
Together though, they went to most of the time together though. Okay.
And then his wife came back when they had to go do a stint that was just way too difficult for her. So she went off and did a tour. She had something lined up with some other tourists, and then she flew back, and then they all went back over his family. It's crazy what they've done. But he had us down for dinner, and the pictures are just unbelievably beautiful. I just think it'd be kind of cool if we could somehow invite all the community and the students, anybody that wanted to see it. But I think Willis might be a good spot to do that at, there in the auditorium.
Yeah, I think doing things with students is a great way to kind of package it a little bit, so that you've got an audience already there, kind of students, parents, because it's really their world, kind of the students. It's going to become their world, and introducing them to stuff like this, I think, is really helps their imagination.
But I would open it to all.
Oh yeah, no,
That was a
yeah.
good one.
I wonder if it would be possible to do a small presentation at maybe Dempsey and Hayes, and then say, come see our full presentation. That way the kids are interested and exposed to, hey, mom and dad, hey, I heard about this thing. Can we go? That way they have to have a taste of it. In some respects, if that's, something that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea to.
Would we host it?
Yeah, I
Sister
was thinking
City
Sister
board,
City would host
we
it.
put a table out front, we host it, we like, publish, that's a great idea.
I'm gonna have to pick a date, maybe in January, and talk to Paul to see if we could get the auditorium. January, February, is also about the weather.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that would be a good start out for this series, to start out with that and make people really aware that there will come more of similar things, not as, over the whole world, but focusing on the sister cities that we have in the countries.
Okay.
It would leave me also a little bit spaced though.
Right, it might spur on residents, the chapel as well, that they might want to do it, you could do it quarterly or bi-annually or something like that.
Yeah, I wanted to hear that, but
I didn't even know what was going on. I mean, I've seen pictures of the house over dinner, but I didn't know it. I was gone yesterday in a heartbeat. So I'm like, he goes, I was too busy, I forgot to tell you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that suggestion. I mean, I think that while we have a very strong, I think, commitment with Cicada and Baumholder right now, that doesn't mean we can't do new things or do other things. I think that we are, able to do that, and it will involve other people in the community.
Well, I think the whole message that I'm taking from this is the world has so many opportunities, and it's not all negative, as
No.
you see on TV. I mean, the way he was treated, it was just over the top. And that's where, I mean, I told my mother I was going to Japan, you should have heard her. You can't go there. Oh my God, Korea's going to blah, 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 blah. And Mom, I will be fine. It was the same thing when I went to Germany. Because of what goes on TV, because of what the media has done, it just frightens people to leave.
Yeah, that's
our
very
country.
sad. That's
And
really
I don't want to
sad.
see that happen.
Yeah.
So,
Wow, I appreciate that. I appreciate your point of view. So, yeah, my experience of being overseas in the third world is that they like Americans individually or in small groups. It's when there's a lot of us, like the military, that we have problems. So, great. Thank you very much. It's 7 o'clock. Does anybody else have anything they would like to say, Julie?
I had one thing, just real quick, with Sister Cities International, this really piqued my interest, was the annual Young Artist Showcase, and their art theme for art is the art of diplomacy, and people that are 13 to 18 can submit artwork for their competition. The deadline's next March 1st, and I thought about taking it to Hayes, the art teacher. They put together a art show, and it travels all over the country. And I think it's coming to Cincinnati. I think they're a bigger sister city than we are. I sent our name in just to say, could we host? But I think they need big. So anyway, I thought, if anyone was interested, we could do it for any resident age 13 to 18.
Oh, that's great.
It puts the information, you send it to Washington, D.C., and it's free to enter, and it's art. And so it's promoting, the diplomacy among countries with art. So they can do acrylic, oil, watercolor, charcoal, colored pencil. It's got the requirements here, so if
Is the art
anyone's
teacher
interested.
specifically of something, or?
One piece of artwork will be accepted from each U.S. member community and one from their sister cities. The theme is the art of diplomacy, so it has to be centered around that.
Okay, sorry.
Right,
So
sorry. There's more to it.
we would take that to say Jim Bibler at Hayes, the drawing teacher, or art. Hey, we have this, and then he brings us from what you just said. So he would bring us the entries. We would
Right.
pick one for the city.
Well, I'll have to read more on that. I haven't really read it. I
That's
just
what I thought
printed it
you
off.
said.
But there's more information. We can go through it. Just about criteria and then the dates. But I don't know if it's that we would pick it, or I guess we could do that and then submit it. Or if we can have more than, let's see, one piece of artwork will be accepted from each U.S. member community and one from each of their sister cities. So members with multiple entries are encouraged to form their own local competitions and submit the winner. So there you go. So, right, we would maybe have them.
So perhaps while the students are here from Sakata, they could, that way we won't have to worry about shipping something back and forth. I am, just thought.
Yeah, it might be interesting to talk to some of the Japanese people about that.
Okay, yeah. That's it. Sorry.
Good.
Fishes over.
Thank you. Are there any other comments that people like to offer up here?
Not today.
Not today.
Not today. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, thank you. I don't think we need to vote on that, do we?
No.
So-
I trust.
Good. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, that was very good.
So we'll go over this more and see. So there's artist information. Oh, another
Okay.
idea. Oh,
Why don't we do a Thanksgiving meal for video?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
cool.
Since it's kind of goes with our whole thing.
Being thankful.
That would be
Do
really
a
cool.
full
No.
trimmings.
You don't know.
No, they don't have Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we can do a turkey dinner.
Do
Yeah,
a
but
full,
they could try ours.
full
No, we
trimmings
could
and,
do dogs and then we can incorporate maybe some of their.
No. When they came to the delegation, they want only our food. They did
Yeah.
not want any Japanese.
Yeah, they
food.
love Son of
What-
Mormons.
Yes.
Well, they love the beer. No, would that be kind
That
of?
would-
yeah, I would, yeah, do a
Full
full,
turkey, Thanksgiving, sweet potato.
can we use the
Pumpkin.
kitchen at Willis? Use the,
I was thinking just the, I don't know if you want to do for the students.
no, I meant for the delegation. I mean, Willis, you've got the kitchen, I don't know how big the delegation is, but that's a lot to put on someone personally.
There's just a
too.
couple people coming from the city, right?
Mhm.
Just two. So there's not a lot of that.
Well, we could always do it if we're gonna cook it, we could go to the community kitchen out at the YMCA
Oh, okay.
and eat out there. We wanted to do it.
I just,
Yeah.
why don't we just have a Thanksgiving meal?
That'd be fun.
Show them
I love
And
it.
we could do a potluck
Show them
easily.
how we all act like we as families like each other for one day.
There'll be football on, so that'll
Sit around
work.
and eat and then go take a nap.
Oh,